Before Slaves Became Wives Part 3. Even after Chief Obiara had collected his cowries back from Ifunania's family, the pain inside him refused to leave. It was the kind of ache that didn't just sit in the chest, it found its way into his bones, his breath, and his thoughts. The once vibrant chief now carried a storm on his face. He became irritable, short-tempered, and impossible to please. The household, which had flourished under Ifunania's careful hands, began to slide back into its old state, rigid, cold, and barely surviving. The plantations still yielded, but the heart was gone from the work. The male slaves worked because they must, not because they wanted to. It was as though Ifnanyanya had taken the warmth of the home with her. One afternoon, while walking through the plantation, Chief Obiara's ears caught a conversation. Two of the younger slaves spoke in hushed but excited tones. Uch asked, "Did you hear? Ifyani has been chosen by the Ezedike household to father a child." User responded, "Yes, I heard. But I'm not surprised, if Nanyanya likes him. If they have children, Ifyani's life will change forever. He'll no longer be just a slave, he'll have land, a home, and respect. In time, he could rise to master if he works hard." Those words struck Obiara like an arrow to the chest. Respect, land, family, the life he had imagined with Ifnanyanya, now being handed to another man. His blood boiled, the pain in his heart morphed into jealousy, that jealousy grew into pride, and that pride birthed a dangerous idea to possess. Days later, he went before the Women's Council, the powerful elders who governed matters of family and reproduction, and spoke with righteous anger. "I have been cheated," he declared. "Ifnanyanya and her family deceived me. After years of loyalty and service, they repay me by giving her to another man. I demand compensation." The council asked, "And what do you seek?" Without hesitation, Chief Obiara said, "I want the right to father her children." The council chamber erupted. Some women agreed he cared for her. Perhaps he deserves a say. Others shook their heads. A man too old, a man driven by spite, is no father for her children. Ifunania's family, though poor, refused outright. They would not give their daughter to a man who had shown her such coldness. The council sided with them, and Obiara's request was denied. But Obiara's desire did not die. It only grew sharper. If he could not win her through the council, he would create a situation where she would have no choice but to return. The Ezedike family had recently been granted a small piece of fertile land. Without it, they could not feed themselves or earn their standing in the village. Obiara, through quiet whispers and subtle actions, sabotaged the soil, salting it until nothing could grow. Within months, the crops began to wither. The Ezedike family's joy turned to despair. Hunger loomed desperate. They sought the wisdom of the blind Dibia. The oracle's verdict was cruel. "You have offended the god of harvest. You must offer costly sacrifices, more than you can afford, or your land will remain barren." The family was trapped. As slaves, they owned little. To make such an offering was impossible, and in the shadows, Chief Obiara waited, the only man with enough wealth to save them. But Ifnanyanya, sharp as ever, sensed his hand in their misfortune. She refused to go to him. The pressure, however, began to split her family apart. Arguments flared, resentment grew. The elders whispered that perhaps enduring him was better than watching everyone starve. Meanwhile, Obiara sat in his hut, still restless. If the Dibia's plan failed, what else could he do? He sought counsel once again from his friend, Chief Amandi. Amandi said, "I told you before, the only way is to make a woman stay willingly. You ruined your chance when you took your cowries back." Obiara responded, frowning, "So there's no way to get her back?" "There is always a way. But first, why do you want her back? Is it because you cannot stand to lose, or because you truly value her?" The question struck Obiara silent. He thought of the ease she brought into his life, how she ran his household without him lifting a hand, how her presence felt like a shelter from the harshness of the world. Finally, he spoke. Obiara finally confessed. "She carried burdens I didn't even know I had. She gave without being asked. She made my life feel full." Amandi's eyes narrowed. "Then get another female slave," Amandi spat. Shaking his head, Obiara said, "No, I want Ifnanyanya. No one else will do." He paused, searching for the words that had been forming in his heart. I want her for the rest of my life. I will give her family more land, more cowries. I will make her mistress over all my properties. She will take my name so that everything I have is hers too. Her family will be my family. All I want is for her to stay willingly forever. For the first time in his life, Chief Obiara realized something humbling. It was not the land, the title, or the power that made a man rich. It was the woman who chose to stand beside him. Thank you for watching Stories by Mommy Billion.